Okay, let's dive right into this. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the fascinating and honestly sometimes frustrating world of aquatic ecosystems. We're going to break down those viral claims you've seen about zero maintenance aquariums and uncover the actual biological truth behind them.
You know exactly the ones I'm talking about, right? Those alluring social media videos claiming a tank hasn't had a single water change in 2 years. It's like magic. And hey, it taps into our shared frustration with sudden algae blooms, sick fish, and those totally devastating tank crashes. It sounds like an absolute dream. But is a truly self-sustaining ecosystem actually possible, or is it just an internet illusion? Well, here's our roadmap to figure this all out. We're looking at 1, the no water change myth; 2, top-off versus water change; 3, old tank syndrome; 4, the plant filter; and 5, secrets to sustainable tanks. Let's get into it.
All right, section 1, the no water change myth, the truth about maintenance.
Let's start by unpacking what a sustainable aquarium actually looks like when you look past all the internet hype. Now, the source reveals a absolutely crucial truth right off the bat. A sustainable tank does not mean zero maintenance. Actually, it's defined by long-term stability. So we're talking about really stable water parameters, even plant growth without those annoying rotting leaves, minimal and easily controlled algae, and of course, healthy, stress-free fish. The goal isn't to just lock the tank away and literally never touch it. It's about creating a mature, self-balancing ecosystem that just has a lighter maintenance cycle, one that doesn't constantly require emergency rescues.
Moving on to section 2, top off versus water change, understanding the difference. So there's a huge misunderstanding driving this whole no water change myth. A lot of people think, hey, I add water every week to replace what evaporated, so I'm basically changing the water, right? Actually, no, not at all. When you only top off evaporated water, you're really just adding new water to an old system. Think about it, because when water evaporates, only pure H2O leaves the tank. All the dissolved solids, the nitrates, the organic waste, even the fish hormones, they all stay trapped right there inside. A true water change, on the other hand, physically removes that accumulated waste and completely resets the chemical balance of the tank.
Our source has this absolutely brilliant analogy for this, the coffee cup analogy. Imagine you have a cup of coffee that you've almost finished drinking, right? Down at the bottom, there's this thick, bitter sludge of old coffee grounds. Now, if you just keep pouring fresh, hot water into that cup, sure, the cup is physically full again. But that bitter, nasty sludge, it's still sitting right there at the bottom. Topping off a fish tank is exactly like this. You're filling up the volume, but the invisible chemical sludge just remains.
Which brings us to section 3, old tank syndrome, the silent killer. So what actually happens when that invisible sludge builds up? Well, it leads to a highly dangerous condition called old tank syndrome, and it sneaks up slowly on unsuspecting hobbyists, which is why it's a silent killer. The crazy part is, the water might look crystal clear, there's no bad smells, and honestly, the fish might even seem totally fine at first glance. But chemically, the tank is dying from the inside out. You've got lethal levels of dissolved organic carbon, excessively high total dissolved solids, and imbalanced ions silently building up. And over time, your plants start to melt, algae just randomly spikes, and your fish's immune systems just silently fail. Now, nature does try to handle that waste through the nitrogen cycle. Kind of think of your tank as a 24/7 waste management factory. Step 1, the fish waste and rotting leaves create ammonia. This stuff is raw and highly toxic. Step 2, your beneficial bacteria step in and convert this into nitrate, which is a really dangerous intermediate stage that actually stops fish from absorbing oxygen. Finally, in step 3, another set of bacteria converts that nitrate into nitrate. Nitrate is the end product. It's a lot less toxic and it acts as an awesome plant fertilizer. But if you don't change your water or if you don't have enough plants, this nitrate is just going to build up endlessly. As our source wisely points out with this quote, the more mature the tank, the better behaved. An older, mature tank, we're usually talking about one that's been running for maybe 6 to 12 months. It has a massive, robust bacterial colony. It can process all these toxic chemicals smoothly and efficiently before they cause any sudden drama. But here's the catch. Bacteria alone isn't the whole story. That leads right into section 4, the plant filter, nature's waste engine. Aquatic plants are so often just viewed as beautiful decorations to make a tank look like a little slice of nature. But our source emphasizes a golden rule. Healthy plants equal a healthy tank. Why is that? Because plants are literally a massive biological engine for your entire ecosystem.
Every single time a plant grows a brand new leaf, it is physically extracting excess nitrogen, phosphorus, and other nutrients right out of the water column. They are literally eating the waste.
Now here's a really fascinating secret weapon for you. Submerged aquatic plants are great, for sure, but they're bottlenecked by the limited amount of CO2 dissolved in the water. Emergent plants, on the other hand, like pothos, where the roots are in the water but the leaves are up in the air, these are heavy-duty nitrate absorbers. Why? Because they have access to virtually limitless atmospheric CO2, and that allows for some truly explosive nutrient uptake.
Okay, so for the truly advanced tanks out there, there's a process called denitrification. This happens in deep, undisturbed substrates where oxygen is super low. We call these anaerobic zones. Down there, specialized bacteria can actually consume nitrate and convert it directly into nitrogen gas, which just bubbles harmlessly right out of the tank. Sounds absolutely perfect, right? A totally natural way to remove nitrate without ever doing water changes. But, and this is a big but, the source issues a severe warning here. If it's set up incorrectly, this exact same anaerobic zone can produce hydrogen sulfide. That is a deadly, rotten egg-smelling gas that will literally turn your beautiful tank into a ticking time bomb. Yikes.
All right, Section 5, Secrets to Success, Sustainable Tanks. So how in the world do we safely achieve this perfectly balanced ecosystem without, building a toxic time bomb in our living rooms? The source outlines 7 really actionable rules. Number 1, you've got to slightly understock your fish. 2, ensure your plants are thriving so they act as filters. 3, use really robust mechanical filtration. 4, be strictly disciplined with feeding so you aren't just dumping in excess waste. 5, stick to moderate lighting so things don't grow totally out of control. 6, stop constantly tinkering with the layout. And 7, above all else, you just need to have immense patience. And actually, speaking of robust filtration, our source provides a very specific, absolutely critical metric, 5 to 8. To maintain a truly stable ecosystem, your filter's actual flow rate should be 5 to 8 times your tank's total volume every single hour. Now, this isn't just about sucking up fish poop. A strong flow physically pushes those essential nutrients and the CO2 evenly into every single tiny corner of your tank layout, making sure absolutely no dead zones form. Now, as you're building this ecosystem, you really must be wary of these 4 dangerous myths. We've covered a couple already, but honestly, they are worth repeating. The most fatal assumption is thinking that just because your water is visually clear, it's chemically clean. We know that's not true, thanks old tank syndrome. Number 2, top-offs do not replace water changes. 3, nitrate isn't the only thing you should be testing for. Dissolved organics matter just as much. And finally, achieving a state where you don't need to change the water very often does absolutely not mean you do zero maintenance. You still have to trim those plants and check up on your equipment for sure. So the crucial point here is really all about stability. You absolutely must resist the urge to constantly pull up your plants, move your rocks around, or swap out your substrate. Every single time you cause a major disturbance in a mature tank, you essentially hit the reset button on that super fragile biological balance you've spent months building. I mean, if you want real sustainability, you have to just let nature settle in and do its job undisturbed. Ultimately, it all really comes down to this brilliant quote from our source. The goal isn't to never change the water. The goal is to not have to change the water because of a crisis. As you strive for that perfectly balanced aquarium, I want you to ask yourself this provocative question. Are you trying to force nature to stop working entirely so you can just be lazy? Or are you finally learning how to step back and let nature work for you? Definitely something to think about next time you look at your tank. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.